This video is to help you to understand the material from section 2.3.1. We're going to be working with the idea of generic rectangle area models to represent multiplication of multi-digit numbers. So we know that when you have multiplied in the past, you've worked with a pretty traditional method, or we call it an algorithm, to do that. And the idea is to show you a different way to do it. So if we took 12 times 13 and we wanted to find the answer, one way we could do it is the traditional method, plus you might even know what 12 times 13 is with your multiplication tables. But another way you could do it is you could break 12 into 10 plus 2 and break 13 into 10 plus 3. So 10 plus 2 is represented here, equaling the 12. 10 plus 3 is represented here, equaling the 13. Then what we do is we basically multiply the various sections together. So 10 times 10, and I'll try to do this with colors to help hopefully make it make sense, is of course 100. So that's going to go into that section right there. So these two being multiplied together create the product that we put right in here. Okay. Well, what about if we had this 10 times this 2? Okay, so 2 times this 10, I'm coming all the way across. That, of course, would be 20. So that would go into the section right here. All right. What about if we had now, and again, I'm going to try to do a different color to make it stand out, this 10 times this 3? Well, that, of course, would be 30. And then lastly, what if we wanted this 2 times this 3? And that would be 6. So what we do is when we do what we call generic multiplication area model, generic rectangle, we multiply those different sections and then we add them all together at the end. So you have 100 plus 20 plus 30 plus 6. All right, so we have a total of, when we fill it all in, 156. And again, that's coming from the 10 by 10 being 100, the 2 by 10 being 20. Okay, again, that's coming from this times this. All right, the 10 times 3 being 30. And that's coming again from this times this. And the 2 times 3 being 6. So adding them all together, we get 156. All right, so that is a method to find the product of 12 times 13. Now you might say to yourself, well, that seems like a more lengthy or more difficult method, and that is true. All right, there's actually a lot of reasons why they show you the generic rectangle. We end up using these concepts down the road when we work with distributive property. We end up using this concept when we end up doing things with factoring, with algebra. So they're trying to get you the basics of it using something that you're familiar with, which is multiplying, in this case, 2-digit numbers, although it can also work with 3-digit numbers and so forth. So let me just show you what this one looks like. This is for 59 times 46. So again, we break the 59 into 50 plus 9. We break the 46 into 40 plus 6, okay, because that's what we're trying to multiply here. Then the 50 times the 40, these two right here make the 2,000. Okay, again, I'm going to try to do different colors here. The 40 times the 9 gives us the 360 right here. The 50 times the 6 gives us the 300 right there. And the 9 times the 6 is this corner spot of the 54. So then we add up those sections and get 2,714. All right, so that's the basics of generic rectangles. For your homework, what they want you to then do is to do a generic rectangle. Multiply 37 times 42. All right. So first of all, how would you break apart the 37? How would you break apart the 42? Well, 37 should be 30 plus 7. 42 should be 40 plus 2. All All right, so they want you to first do it with a generic rectangle. And the idea here would be that you would basically make a rectangle. And we'll try to sketch one out for you as a starting point. And you're going to break that rectangle into fourths. It does not have to be divided into sections where one section's bigger than the others, like they have on their examples. And you're going to go ahead and make the 37 into 30 plus 7. Don't make it 3 plus 7 because that'll end up giving you incorrect information. Remember, 3 is representing 30, the 3 in the tens place. And the 42 would be 40 plus 2. Okay, if I can put a plus sign in there. And then you're going to multiply your sections. 30 times 40 will go here. 40 times 7 will go here. 30 times 2 will go here. 7 times 2 will go here. And add up all 4 sections to get the answer. And then for part B, they want you to multiply it by the standard algorithm for multiplication. So what they mean by the standard multiplication algorithm is that you're taking 37 times 42 and you're multiplying by the traditional method. So 2 times 7, 2 times 3, don't forget to add your 0 for your place marker, and so on. Compare your answer from what you get here with what you got here, and then see is which method of multiplication do you prefer and why. And you're allowed to prefer either method. You do not have to prefer the new generic rectangle method. For 256, what they want you to do is to look at this information and identify these terms, the factors and the product. All right, factors are the things being multiplied. Factors are terms that are being multiplied. So as you look at this, this is representing like one section of a generic rectangle. What are the factors? What 2 things are being multiplied here? And then the product, what is the result of that multiplication? So looking at this quick sketch, which is representing a section of a generic rectangle, what are the factors, the numbers being multiplied? What is the product? 257, they want you to write 2 fractions that are equivalent to the originals. So 2 fractions that are equivalent to 1/2. Equivalent again meaning equal in value but look different. You can use your giant 1. 2 fractions that are equivalent to 3/5. 2 fractions that are equivalent to 4/7. Remember, there's an infinite amount of equivalent fractions. You just need to come up with 2. For 258, Ruth's brother Ethan planted a garden for her as a surprise while she was away. He planted seeds for the vegetables in 50% of the garden, so that's shown here. He also planted herbs and flowers. So the entire circle is representing the area of her garden. If this lightly shaded portion is representing flowers, okay, so this portion right here is representing flowers, they want you to estimate what portion is representing the herbs. In other words, what percentage do you think this is approximately? All right, and explain how you came up with your estimate. Then for 259, you're going to add or subtract these numbers without a calculator. So make sure you show your work, make sure you line up your decimal point.